So even if it's a happy emotion, ask why. If it's a sad emotion, ask why. If it's
Right.
angry, ask why. So any situation, why am I happy in this moment? And then really kind of like pick it. So like pick at it, keep asking why till you get to like the root. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the time it's not even your own belief. It's something
Right.
that you've taken from someone else or you've seen and it's become your belief.
Yep.
And then you've got to be like, okay, is this my belief or is this someone else's
100%.
belief?
Hello and welcome to The Human Now, where we're discussing ideas around what it means to be in this state of time. My name is Akash, and today, joined with me, I have... actually, wait. So I'll explain for those who are coming back and, not really knowing what's happening right now. The reason why we've changed up the intro and the way we're going to introduce people is because I was driving in the car and I was like, man, for the people who are listening, they don't know the name, how the name associates to the voice. So for that reason, everyone now will introduce themselves. And we decided that we're also going to describe what we're wearing today for those people who are listening in. Take it away, person number one.
Wow, guys. Wow. Hello, everyone. My name is Jayshree. I am person number one today. Today I am wearing an blue ensemble. Is that the word? Ensemble. With my fresh new Nike AFs. You can't see them, but I'm also wearing Stussy socks. Please sponsor me.
Hi guys, I'm Anjali. I'm person number 2. And I am wearing shoes that look like Balenciagas, but they're not.
Don't say that. Just rock it, man. Cool.
I'm Karishma, or Curry, person number 3. I'm wearing an I Love Ugly long sleeve shirt.
Hey.
Too good. Make sure you check out the podcast. If you're listening, come on the podcast with us. That'll be nice. Yeah.
Cool. And I am person number 4. My name is Akash. I am pretty much in my relaxed gears, wearing grey, my home swag, got my Adidas slides on, and my Reebok cap.
Yeah, rainbow
Feeling
socks.
good. And my rainbow socks. Yeah, man.
Yes.
Nice.
So for those people who have been on us and our journey, you'll have remembered Curry from kind of like our first seasons. You would have remembered Anj as well, whom we call Dr. Anjali Patel. She was then actually, yeah. Since then you've been married.
Yes, that is correct.
So what's your new name?
Rattan.
Oh,
Hey.
Dr. Rattan.
I can be distinguished from the crowd now of Patels. Sorry, Jayshree.
Wow, guys. I will be the sole representative of the Patel clan today.
And welcome, Jayshree.
Hello.
To the podcast.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
So as we do with all the new people that come on, Jayshree, are you a fold or scrunch?
I always wonder
Or actually, there is now this other third
is it like
thing, which
origami?
can be kind of whatever.
Bit of both, right?
Bit of both or
Yeah.
something. Or
Origami.
you might, yeah. That could even be another, like a fourth thing. So yeah. What are you,
I
Jay?
always wonder is there a deeper meaning to this question, or is it just like,
It's just to
It
like,
tells us a lot about you.
okay,
Yeah.
And who you are.
I clearly thought a lot about it.
it's just for us to judge who you are.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. I'm like, I don't know how to interpret that, but that's okay. When I'm procrastinating, which is 90% of the time, I will fold meticulously. I will match up the edges of the squares and everything.
Yeah.
But when I'm like, don't really care, then we'll scrunch away because I'm not really thinking about it. No origami, maybe in the future. I'm really bored.
Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. You need a fourth one, origami.
Yeah.
True. Let's add it on. No, the actual reason that we do it is just to bring everyone onto the same level. It's just get everyone onto this one grounding level, and it's kind of like just have fun, learn to let go, and not be so serious about everything. So that's why we ask it. Cool. All right, let's move into the discussion today. It's based around emotions and the way it connects to or the links that it has to our body and our mind. Yeah. Should we talk about first what emotions are? Because I've found we don't really get taught, not at school. We don't actually get taught, okay, this is what emotions are, and this is what they mean.
Yeah.
And like you have these types of emotions, and this is how you like use them.
Yeah.
We don't get taught how to use emotions as well.
Yeah.
You know, so if we start off with what emotions, or what do emotions mean to you guys? Yep. Should we start there? Or what are emotions, in your opinion?
Take it away, Jay.
Wow.
I like the system.
Wow.
Person number one.
I can't even
person
pass it
one.
on to the person on my
Nah,
right
man,
because there's
person
no one
one.
there.
You're person one, so
Yeah, you're person
there you
one.
go.
I don't want to be person number one. I don't know. I guess like when you're younger or when you're in school, you kind of associate emotions to faces. Like you're like, this is a happy face, or this is a sad face, this is a uncomfortable face, or this is an angry face. And then I guess when you get older, the idea of emotions becomes a lot like more abstract. Like you're kind of like, well, it's not quite happy. Happy doesn't always look like this, or sad doesn't always look like this. So I guess like, I don't know, it's difficult. I guess coming from a little bit of my background, it's like I kind of think of them as like chemicals in our body now, because thinking of a more biological model, like emotions are kind of, related to the chemicals in our body and how they interact with each other in parts of the brain. But yeah, that's kind of my take on emotions. Is that kind of...
Do you want to just explain what you mean in terms of the chemicals?
So obviously we've got different kind of areas of the brain, and they kind of regulate different parts. Like we've got a fear center, we've got one obviously different parts of the brain interact and release different neurotransmitters or hormones. So obviously when you do something good, there's like the dopamine
Right.
system. So that's like your reward center. And or like when you're stressed, then you release like cortisol, or when like adrenaline, even in those kind of flight or fight responses. So it's kind of like, again, that kind of when those hormones or neurotransmitters are released, you're like more stressed, or you're more like amped or whatever. So that's kind of how I think about it now.
Cool. Anj?
Just to add on to what Jay said, so when I think of like emotions, I think it's just like manifestation of what you've learned or taught to believe.
Right.
So like you say your surroundings, your environment. If you see like, say when you're growing up and someone's really happy and they're like, oh, they're really happy, and you're like, okay, so that's what happy looks like, just what like Jay was saying. And then as you get older, you learn to identify them a little bit more. But then also in saying that, is it like that is what happy is? Do you know what I mean? Like, is that happy emotion that you see, is that the same as what you would see?
Exactly.
Like if I, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So I feel like there's no, it's like it's in your mind as to how you express happiness.
Yep.
Like someone could be really happy just sitting.
Yeah.
But if you're looking outside as like like from another point of
External
view,
world.
from an external world, you could be like, oh, that person's really sad because they're sitting by themselves. But internally they could be like, I'm so happy right now. Like I'm this real,
True.
this big buzz. So like, I don't know, emotions can be, I don't know if it's like it's not a tangible thing.
Yeah.
It's
Very
just like
subjective.
Yeah, it's very subjective, and it's like what you've, like I said, it's probably like your belief system, what you've learnt as you've been growing up to believe that this is happy, this is sad, this is angry, right? And then as you get older, you can either identify with it a bit more and you learn more about it, things like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think mine's like a mix of both of yours. Like yours would be like the creation of it, and then yours would be like the thought process. And then the way I see it is like the reaction. So it's like our emotions are reactions to our stimulus or whatever happens in front of us. So like if we're in a certain situation, or like you see someone celebrating, you're like, okay, they must be happy, so I've portrayed my happy emotion.
Yeah.
And that's how I react to the situation. Or it's like if you see someone fall over, you're automatically going to be like, oh my God, how do I help? Because it's like that's how we react to the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think I'm very much the same as Curry,
Yeah.
where like initially, I'd say all through like school and stuff, it was kind of like you're not aware of that you can think about emotions.
Yeah.
You know, and it was only like very recently where it's like, oh, you can actually think about emotions.
Like you almost thought it was an impulse. Like I don't have control over that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like this
Yeah.
thing's
So
just
true.
coming
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
You know, whereas lately it's been like, oh, cool, you can think to be happy.
And then like I also think like happy, like there's different like
Yeah.
what is it, like different sectors of it.
Mm.
Like there's different like levels to happiness, maybe, if like,
Yeah.
you could put it in that sense. Like in the sense of like, no, I don't think levels is the right
Yeah.
word, but there's like different part or components of it,
Right.
if that kind of makes sense.
Do you want to give an example?
So say you won an award, right? I'm happy for you because you won an award, but your happiness level will be even higher because you've been acknowledged and appreciated. Does that kind of make sense? So we're both happy, but I feel like you would experience that happiness,
The
on
amount
amount of
like,
happiness
pleasure,
more
joy,
than
or-
what I would.
Yeah.
If that kind of
Yeah.
resonates.
I was thinking, I was watching something today and they're saying that you got like 10 different types of emotions.
Yeah.
But like they're like our base emotions and then everything else is a mix.
Who's that?
We're all here.
If you heard that, I think that was my mum. She just rang the doorbell.
Do you need to open the door?
That's where we like get into this angry
Yeah.
emotion. All right.
Annoyed.
So,
like,
Let me just get into this
like, oh,
angry
man.
emotion. I'm just gonna go. Nah. Dad's there. He'll
okay.
come and unlock the door. Yeah. We're all
Yeah,
good.
so as I was saying, is that 10
I'm exiting this angry emotion. Just let it go.
Substitute.
Release
Substitute.
it, man.
Just release. We're all good. Just enjoy the ride.
Yeah, we're
Sorry,
right.
Carrie, keep going. We're good.
Yeah. Anyways.
So we have the 10 different emotions and they're like our base emotions. And then everything else we feel is either those pure emotions or like a mix of them.
Yeah.
So like the 10 that they describe is either joy, surprise, sadness, anger, disgust, contempt, shame, fear, guilt, or interest or excitement. And then everything else is like either that pure emotion or a mix of all of it.
Mm.
So then saying that you're like your different levels of happiness,
Yeah.
that
That's
actually
probably
be
what I mean.
different combinations of emotions that you feel.
There's
Yeah.
also like
Yeah.
different ways to there's also been lots of, I guess, theories behind emotions. And I think I saw one and I think it kind of relates to the 10 that you were talking about, but it was almost like a Cartesian plane, and it was like obviously you've got like the positive side, the negative side.
Yeah.
And then like, so I might be like really positive, like, but here, or like I could be really positive in like, I forgot what the other axis was, but it could be like I'm slightly over here. So it was really interesting to see how like you could plot it on kind of like a graph almost.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So
Well-
I think that's where like the whole mix of
Yeah.
Emotions.
Mixes
I think
come
it
through
was
to
like
the-
it was like arousal at one
Yeah.
point, and then like something else was like so it's like the complete opposites, and then the complete opposites up here as well about what you feel. So it's like
Yeah.
if you're watching something, you could be like happy and aroused, or like happy and like just calm, like content.
Yeah. I think then that relates back to what Anja's saying.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
like
can-
So it's like where you
levels.
plot on the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone would plot differently. If
Yeah,
Yeah.
according to their experience of what their happiness would be, right?
and what's
Yeah.
happening to them in that point
In
of
that
time.
moment, yeah.
There's
Mm.
external
So be their
things that
reaction.
Or
Yeah.
and
You
also
know?
like what they say something really good happened to them, like the happiest you've ever been. You're probably gonna compare that happiness
Yeah,
to that
true.
high one.
true.
You know what I mean? So you're like, I'm happy, but I'm not like so happy that when I bought a new car, or like you know what I mean? Like I reckon you could probably do that as well.
Yeah. But then isn't happy just happy?
It could be.
Isn't that like what we want to work towards? Just like that one same happiness.
I think that's when you like are consciously aware of the emotion,
Yeah.
and you can like you don't link the emotion to an external thing.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm feeling this
True.
and this, and I'm content in that
Yeah.
moment,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
you're not like associating it to
Yeah.
to like something outside of your control in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like that doesn't come like when you're a little kid. You don't think of that, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
even if
yeah.
you get a
Happiness
lolly,
is
you're
this
like
little-
extremely
Yeah.
happy, like
Yeah.
right? So
Like this is my a new toy. You're like having
Yeah.
this toy makes me so happy.
exactly,
It's almost like their emotions are real raw.
Yeah.
And then as you grow older, it becomes
And
real
you-
like superficial and
yeah,
like
and that's because you understand more as
Yeah.
well, I guess.
Yeah.
you get
And also what
educated
you're
more.
like placing value on as
That's
well.
it. Yeah.
You know, like for us, if we buy something and it breaks, it's like, man, I worked this hard for it. I
Yeah.
did this and this
Yeah.
went into it. I paid this much for it, and
Yeah.
oh, I'm really, really sad. And,
Yeah.
you know, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, we break a toy when we were a little kid, and it's like, oh, oh, you cry for one day and then
Yeah, and you
new toy.
New toy. Yeah, I'm okay with this one now. Yeah.
In saying that, yeah, what is your relationship like with your emotions?
Person number one.
It doesn't have to be person number one. You know, person number two
I
or
just
three.
wanted to say
Yeah,
that.
person number 2. Wow, person number 2. Can you not?
Pick on the new kid, yeah. I'm joking.
Sound guy, can you help me, please? Please send help.
You're on your own, man.
Yeah.
Give me like a little white flag or something. I don't know. I guess like when I think about like relationship with your emotions, it's kind of like either you run your emotions or your emotions run you.
Right. Is that what it's like in your day to day?
Hopefully not in my day to day.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't really think about it enough to kind of like. I just feel like I'm going through the notions in a way. Like I'm like, cool. I wake up. I'm feeling okay. Miss the bus. Not feeling less okay.
Yeah.
And then I like get over it. Like I guess like my day isn't just like a flat line, and like
Cool.
it probably is like a little.
Yeah.
And then like not linear, but yeah, just kind of comfortably adjusting throughout the day.
Mm.
Is that kind of
Yep.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think, person number 2?
Well, thank you, person number one. What was the question?
So what is your relationship
with
like with your emotions
right.
on a day to day
On
level?
a day-to-day level.
Yeah.
I think, well, I was growing up, it wasn't, my emotions definitely ran me because I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't conscious of it. It was just like an impulse, kind of like a reaction, like you said. It's like something happens, you react to it. But now I feel like because like I read and like you watch videos and you learn things, right? And because you're more consciously aware of it, you're more likely to be in control of it. So I feel like I have a better understanding and relationship with my emotions, but I'm not perfect with them. Like I'm still human. I'll still react. I'll still do silly things now and then.
Yep.
But it's much better than what it was.
Yeah.
In short term.
Thank you, person
Nice.
number 2.
Yeah, you're welcome.
No, I feel like I'm very similar to you as well.
Yeah.
And like when I react to something, or like when my emotions, when I'm feeling something, I often ask why I'm feeling this way
Yeah, nice.
to understand what my actual
Mm.
emotion is. Or like if I got angry at something, I'll be like, okay, why am I actually angry? Like I'm not angry at the situation. I'm probably angry at something that's happened before.
Yeah.
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 So I think I'm quite conscious, but again, not perfect. Like I'd
Yeah.
still
I
react.
don't think anyone is.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like I'm
Yeah.
aware, but still unaware in a
Yep.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Same as probably the same as Curry, where I'll get into a situation and you just get like consumed by it and it just and you're you know, like it's happening while at the same time you're like, oh, this is happening. You know, but you gotta like let it play out. But yeah, 100% same as you, Anj. Like I'd just be like, I wouldn't even have a clue. This is how I'm feeling. You know, it just happens naturally.
Yeah, because
And you're not in tune to it.
Yeah,
you know?
get so invested into what's happening that you don't realize what's happening inside your head at the same time.
Yeah.
'Cause you're so
Or like where it's come from.
yeah,
or what's
because you're
caused
looking at the
it, you know?
external thing and you're like, why is
Yeah.
this person or this thing making me unhappy or sad or angry? But it's actually like you look back and you're like, actually, why am I reacting that way to
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
situation? Like,
Yeah.
is it actually that person that's making, or that event that's made me happy or sad? Or is it something that's happened that's triggered something maybe from the past that's like
Yeah.
brought that emotion back
Yeah.
up?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. I guess it comes in like with self-awareness as well. Like when you're able to ask yourself, hey, like when you're able to kind of like step back from it and be like, hey, why am I actually feeling this? Whereas like I guess like some people try and, well, I know I personally try and like just fix it. Like how do I go back to like not being annoyed, or how do I go back to being like a little less happy, like a little less happier? I want to be a little bit more happier.
It's okay.
It's all right,
you know,
Jay.
it's
You're
actually
in the right
okay.
place.
It's interesting. We
Wow,
all
guys.
laughed.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
but like, yo, it's normal. it's all
It's
right.
completely
Yeah.
normal.
So it's kind of like, I guess like with self-awareness, you kind of realize that, hey, this, maybe it's not something external, maybe it's something more internal.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to search a little deeper into myself and address some underlying issue or something.
Do you guys, we always like have siblings, so do you guys find your emotions
Like
similar to the way your siblings deal with them? Because I was just thinking about me and Cash, like we both I think we both like understand our emotions.
Yeah.
This like in the same sense.
Yep.
Or same way.
And then because of that, like when I do get angry, I allow myself to like magnify it.
Yeah.
But
Because
then
I would just be like, oh, he's not actually angry at me. He's
Yeah.
angry at something else, but he needs to
but like I
release
need to
that.
like vent it
Right,
out, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. So you understand each other and how you guys
Yeah.
manifest your emotions.
Yeah.
And we
how you
know
react
like
to stuff.
if one of us is angry at the other, like
you know what to do.
we know what to do, and then at the end of it, we'll be all good
Yeah.
because we know like it's all good.
Yeah.
But yeah, how's it for
Yeah.
you guys and your siblings and your emotions?
Oh, for me and Ace, we're like as we're growing up, we're very like we used to fight a lot. He used to steal my things. Yeah, I sit there on camera.
Called out. Wow.
I'm kidding. I still love you. But as we were both like obviously you mature and things
Yeah.
like that. I feel like we don't like he knows when I'm angry, like you two. He knows when I'm angry how to deal with it and like
Yeah.
just to leave me alone kind of thing. And then I'll come to him when I'm like ready.
Right.
But it's not like we fight amongst each other.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not against each other. It's about something else. But because he's at home, it's easy to vent to that
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you know they love you and they can't leave. That kind of thing, right? Like
They're forced to
stuck
stay with you.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But like the opposite way, I don't remember Ace getting angry. Like it's just he's a cool person.
He is, man. He's
Yeah,
just like
I don't know. He's on another
he's on
level.
another
He's on
level.
cloud
So,
nine, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got it sorted.
Man.
Jay?
Yeah, me and my sister just fight heaps. It's like I'll say something and then she'll talk back and I'll be like, excuse me? Do you know who you're talking to?
Oh.
But like in the like it's
Well,
it's always
person
over
number
like
one queen.
wow guys. But it's always over things that like don't really matter as well. Like if it's something serious then like we're able to like actually empathize a lot more than if it's something
Yeah.
less serious, whereas we're just like, excuse me, like who ate the last like pizza? Like excuse me. I was looking forward to this the whole day. Now I have nothing to look forward
Tell
to.
me about it. You know, I can relate with you on that.
It tasted
so
good.
well. So well.
Excuse me. How dare you?
It was very nice.
I feel outraged
I
on your brother's
savoured it.
behalf.
But you're gonna control that emotion.
But yeah, like if it's obviously like she knows that like, you know, it's just pizza, like who cares? And so like
Yeah.
I know like, why am I making a big deal? Because I can. Like
Yeah.
she's my sister. She can't do anything. Like
And
well,
and like it's gone.
yeah.
Yeah, the pizza's
yeah.
gone. What are you gonna
Yeah,
do?
no, you
I'm
can't.
gonna
can't get
be
it
a little
back.
bit mad, but then I'll go buy my own pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All good in the hood.
So talking about emotions, do you guys want to talk about how that then connects in terms of the body and the mind? The way things get stored, or how like what happens to emotions in our body?
Okay. Yep. So like emotions are kind of like a form of energy in that sense.
Yep.
And it's likely for you, like just like clinical wise, when I see patients and stuff, a lot of the time that things that are going on in their lifestyle, it can store as physical symptoms.
Right.
Sometimes. So it's not actually they've had an injury as such, but their lifestyle's been so hectic and so like they've been in an environment that's been so like controlling and stressful and just things have happened that it just everything gets stored and they get tense and tight and like they'll get like shoulder pain, neck pain and lower back pain. And then I've noticed that as soon as they start to work on their environment, that their symptoms go.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not actually there's nothing wrong internally inside them, but it's actually the environment that they're in that's manifesting their body to present in that way because they're reacting. Because you don't realize that when something happens, you're reacting to it, and it's not just you're not separate pieces, right? You're like your mind, body, and your soul. They're all connected, so they all manifest at the same time in different forms in different ways. And just like with energy, like can be created and destroyed, so it has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's kind of what I've seen in my clinical experience. But Jay,
So I guess like the way that throwing it back to you, Anj, but like just as you want to take a sip of water, but so you're talking about I guess like stress in a way, right?
similar, yeah.
Could that be the same thing for like positive emotions? Like I
true.
was just
I never
thinking
thought
about
about
that.
that.
Same.
Like
Yeah.
I guess like
That's a good
everyone's always
question.
like stress obviously has like a physical, like a physiological response and impact, and like chronic stress is like there's so much research and it's
Yeah.
like chronic stress is not good. Do not be chronic, like do not have chronic stress.
She's looking at
Jay-
you.
Or have it, but learn how to deal with it.
More on that later, I guess. But yeah, like, could the converse be said for positive emotions? Like, are we able to like store that in our body? Like,
Oh, true.
Yeah, definitely. I reckon you could, because there's always like the opposite side
Yeah.
of the coin, right?
Yep.
so does that mean that like, I guess positive emotions just bring out like good, like just does good for you? Like, well, I guess happiness has been related to like immune, like
Yeah, immune
more
function.
yeah.
Like,
Mm.
yeah, everything increases in that.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
that
'cause you-
feel good factor, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
because everything's kind of working at like not like a peak level for you, in that way, and so then your body manifests in that way too. So yeah, I'd probably say yeah to that.
You got the glow.
glow up.
Curry?
What was the question again?
So, like, how do you think, or what do you think about the way emotion and its relationship to the body or the mind? Because for me, like, my connection with it and the way I started to kind of think about it was when there's been 2 times, I've said it once before, kind of around stress, when we're up late at night doing, like, all, like, late nighters throughout the whole week. By the end of it, because I'm so stressed and tense, my body starts, like, tingling and shaking, and even my eyes have started twitching, I've found. And then even when it's a bit more emotional, like ulcers in my mouth,
Yeah, that's
you
a
know,
common
and,
one.
and
Yeah.
that's where I'm kind of like, whoa, like what's
going on.
going
Yeah.
on, and where's
Yeah.
this like coming from? And then that's only when I started to understand, like, okay, this is how emotion now translates into the body. Because before it was, okay, you have emotions and you have the body, but for me, I never had that connection until that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. You've probably seen that video, but of the 2 plants, and like that one
Yeah,
plant,
yeah.
they say a lot of good
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like you look beautiful and like all that kind of stuff. And then there's that other plant where you just say all this. They say all this bad stuff to, and you see how the growth is, and like how the one that they say all the bad stuff to just pretty much dies
Yeah.
because of all that negative kind of
all
feedback,
the vibes and
emotion, all the
frequencies.
vibes,
Yeah.
the frequencies. So you could kind of, I think, correlate emotion similar to that.
Yep.
In that sense, like when you're in that negative or that environment or that stress, your body manifests in that way, in the
Yeah.
way that it's like protecting itself. So it starts to take away from all your organs and things like that. So it's like the fight or flight response in that sense.
Yeah, I think mine's pretty similar to that. Like, because I think it was like in school or something we're in a class and we were looking at people's postures,
Yeah.
and then we were like, generally sad people are more like hunched over, or like they don't look as like confident or like up and like awake. So I think knowing that your emotion linked to how you were portrayed as a person, I think I was more conscious of that then. So ever since then, I've been like more conscious of how my emotion makes my body feel. And then even going to get adjusted, I'm just like, oh, if I'm not a very stressed person. Like, I'm quite relaxed. So I'm just like, yeah, I think that if I think the happy thoughts, my body's going to be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're not under that tension or
Yeah.
that pressure.
And then because I know what it feels like to not be under that tension, I'm like, why would I put myself in that situation to be tense then?
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely think that whatever you think links to how your body reacts.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about? Do you remember how you're talking about that athletes in sport and emotion and injury? Do you remember in the book you said you were reading, and how is it people are more prone to injury based on their connection with their emotions? Was it?
Oh, yeah. So I was reading a book called The Sports Gene by Neil Epstein, I think. But it's pretty much all about how like our genetics make us, and all about nature versus nurture. And then they did like all these different studies, but one of them was on how if you put in like a situation, how your thought process affects your performance. So it's like if a person was happier or like were controlling their emotions, they were performing a lot better. And it's because their body was reacting better and like having outcomes that they would like to see. Whereas if you like didn't perform well in a race or something and you thinking all these negative thoughts, your body then takes that on.
Yeah.
And then is like, yeah, it just, I read it ages ago, so I can't like remember for things, but it's like, yeah. That was it.
Because what I kind of remembered from that was, or what I learned from that, And what I think I kind of tied up from that
Yeah.
was, like based on your emotions. Like,
It's
if
like-
you're
it's like-
thinking that way, then you're more
Yeah.
prone
So it's
to.
like in a game situation, if we're playing a game and it's real obvious when you like rile someone up on the field,
Mm.
and it's like the more you make them angry, the worse they're going to perform,
Yeah.
because it's like the emotions get the better of them then.
Right,
But it's like
yeah.
if you're content and you're like just in the zone, you're not going to take notice of those emotions, and you're just like you almost turn into you go into like flight mode,
Yeah.
and it's
Like,
like
your subconscious takes
Yeah.
over and you just
Flow.
Like, flow.
yeah, you're in the state of flow.
Yeah.
Whereas if you let those emotions get to you, you're just going to become worse and worse and worse.
So you're that player on the hockey field.
Hey,
I'm the
yo.
psychological player, man.
Wow.
Own it. Own it.
Triggering everyone.
Yeah, man. But it's
Don't want
so
to play
funny.
with you again.
It is so funny when you play someone and you
Oh,
just
100%.
like,
That's what have we talked
Yeah,
about it in
we've talked
terms
about
of
it.
like on the podcast? We've talked
Yeah.
about it in netball.
yeah,
Like, we just like, yo, just who cares about the result? Just
Yeah.
have fun.
yeah,
and
just
then,
have
Yeah.
fun.
you know, and then you get the people who are just like intense,
The real
man.
serious
and
people, yeah.
serious. And you're like, yo, just calm down, man. Enjoy
And you
the
just like
game.
you say one thing to them and it just throws the whole game off because they're like, oh, like that person got into my head.
And I can see that.
But
It's like you just got into your own head, like
And then that,
Inception.
that makes you feel better, right? And then you perform better.
Yeah.
Exactly, you
It's
feed
the,
off.
It's the hit of dopamine that then comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
in going back to emotions and how they're stored in our body, how do we then release them or get like, learn to get over that? Because holding that in our body can't be good, right?
No, not
And
for long.
also, this links back to like some emotions, like they're stored from when we're little kids, right?
Mm.
Mm.
So how do we learn to find those and release those?
Okay.
It's like, ooh.
I'd say for me, like getting adjusted is a big part of it.
Yeah.
Because I found like ever since I have been getting adjusted, I'm more conscious of what my body feels
Mm.
and like what I'm feeding it. So
Yeah.
it's like if
Cool.
I do think a negative thought, tension starts to build.
Cool.
And then to release it, I go get adjusted. Or like even before that, doing stuff that makes me happy or like I enjoy is like my release of emotion. So if I'm feeling angry, I'd go like play sport or something.
Yeah.
Or like
Check it out.
even
Find
yeah.
a place to vent, right?
Or even now, like me and my dad, like we would just like box each other. Like so
Yeah.
it's like friendly, but it's like not.
You're like, actually, I'm taking out all my anger right now.
yeah, yeah. But like we'll just take it. Like even with us, it's like we'll just push each other.
Yeah. It's just like push. You just need to like,
Do something just to
Yeah.
get
Just
it
need
out
to
of
push
you.
just to get it
someone.
out of you.
Yeah. So like for me, it's more of like it's like a physical release.
Ah, okay.
Watch
Yeah.
out, Shivani.
Yeah. But it's mutual. The understanding is mutual.
Cool. Now
Didn't
I know.
hear that, sorry.
You're not trying to hurt the person.
Yeah, no.
Anj?
I think first is like you need to be aware of
Right.
the emotion.
Mm.
Like you need to catch it. That's the first thing. Like you need to you need to be able to catch it because it's like something. If it's been wired from you, wired within you from when you were younger,
Mm.
it's gonna keep manifesting. If that makes sense, it's gonna keep repeating, in different forms in different ways. So it's like when you're in that emotional state, or in hindsight, when you reflect, I think reflecting is a good one. When you're reflecting back, it's like, okay, this situation made me angry, sad, happy, whatever. Why? So even if it's a happy emotion, ask why. If it's a sad emotion, ask why. If
Right.
it's angry, ask why. So
Yeah.
any situation, why am I
Oh,
happy
yeah.
in this moment? And then really kind of like pick it. Like pick at it, keep asking why till you get to like the root. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And
that
like
does.
a lot of the time it's not even your own belief. It's something
Right.
that you've taken from someone else or you've seen and it's
Yeah.
become your belief.
Yep.
And then you've got to be like, okay, is this my belief or is this someone
Yeah,
else's
100%.
belief? Right? And then so that's like, but this is not something that you can do just like that.
Mm.
It takes
Yeah.
practice and you got to like
And
keep
time,
doing-
right? Because
and
you have
time.
to experience.
Yeah, so I think like gratitude journaling is really
Right.
good as well. Like if you're in that emotional state, writing the emotions good. Like physical is great, like get the energy out that way. Writing is also really good because then it's like if you, it's like this thing that I heard. Like if you're giving someone advice, right? It's really easy to give someone advice when you're in the situation. It's really hard for you to take on that advice.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
right? So it's like writing to yourself, or you say it out loud, and then you
Yeah.
listen to it and you're
That's
like,
what-
that is so silly. Like, why am I even thinking that? So like,
Yeah.
there's this one thing that you can do is that you can record yourself. Like
Yeah.
when you're in that emotional state, like, I'm so angry at this, rah, rah, rah. And then you play it back to yourself and you hear yourself and you're like, if you were giving advice to that person, what would you say?
Right.
How would you deal with that? And I think like doing things like that will just help, like, because we're like layered, right? So it's like you're taking off each layer each time
Yeah.
you
Yep.
come across it. No one's perfect. Everyone's human.
100%.
You're always going to react to things like,
Yeah.
but it's just how in control you can be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
In a way.
It's like-
What about more? If you want to talk about more in terms of what you guys do with your patients and things like that, is there a way that you clinically release
like, help.
emotion? and
Yeah,
help?
so like with the when we adjust a patient,
Yeah.
it's like connecting the neural pathways. So a lot of
Yep.
people think it's just like cracking your neck or cracking
Mm.
your back, which is what you hear. So there is like a noise with it, but all that is just the gas being released from the joint. But what you're trying to do is like, it's kind of like if you think of a motorway or like a highway, a motorway, and say you take like a certain exit to go home, and it usually takes you 20 minutes to get from point A to point B. Now, if there was like accident or a car crash on the motorway, now it takes you an hour. So it's like what a chiropractor is doing is trying to find those accidents in your spine. And it's taking that
Right.
away,
Yeah.
so then you can always get home in 20 minutes. So like that neural pathway is as clear as it can be, so your body can function at its optimum. But the way that those car crashes happen are through like emotional stresses, physical stresses, and like chemical stresses. And so it's like what you're feeding yourself, what you're fueling your mind, and what you're doing.
Yep.
So that's what an adjustment does.
Right.
So it helps
And-
clear
and-
those pathways.
Yeah.
But because we're under constant stress all the time, the time frame that we live in right now, we're always bombarded with so much stuff. So there's only so much adjusting you can do as well at the same time. Like
Right.
there's like a component where we can help you, but then the rest is like we can't follow you and be like, oh, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like we can adjust and get your body in the best place that it can be. So now what happens is now you become more aware. And
Yeah.
like just what Kari says, she
Yeah.
like feels it now. So she's more connected to her body. So she's like, oh, this thing triggers this. Okay, maybe this isn't good for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? So it like brings that more awareness to your body as well at the same time. So that's what an adjustment does. So that would definitely help.
Have you?
But it doesn't fix your problem.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because you're always going to be, there's always something that's
Yeah.
going to come. Yeah.
Fundamentally, it comes down to you and the choice
Yeah. That's it.
the choice you make in terms of holding on to that.
Yep. And our body's adaptable. So it's just trying to, what I tell my patients is we're not trying to get rid of your stress. We're just equipping your body as well as we can. So when that stress does come, your body knows what to do or you know how to react to it. That's all we can do. That's the only control that you have.
Right.
Because you can't control anything outside. You can only control within.
Have you seen any transformations or? in
Oh, it's
time?
like in the sense of like emotional stresses or
Yeah.
well, because the people that I see right now are more in the pain model.
Okay.
So there a
cool.
lot of them, their symptoms are their emotional stresses are manifested as symptoms.
Right.
But it's like I sit like this at work all day. That's
Yeah.
why. Or I got hurt at the gym. That's why. So
Mm.
like when you take the gym away. And you're like, okay, for 6 weeks, don't go to the gym, right? And so when they do that and they're still not changing, they know it's something more, right? But you have to be willing to accept that as well. Because like a lot of people don't want to go down that route.
Yeah.
Like they want to just stay in that.
They just
No,
wanna
this
be
is a
flexible.
physical
Comfortable.
thing. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
a physical thing. Nah, like
Yeah.
I hurt myself at the gym and that's why, and my body's not healing. But it's
Mm.
like, but why isn't it healing?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it
What's that
actually the
root
gym?
cause? Yeah.
Or is it something else that's going on inside?
Right.
But it's like that you have to be comfortable to have that conversation with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find people are like?
Some are very in tune. Obviously, you get different scales.
Yeah.
People. So
Yeah.
like you get a lot that are quite like aware and conscious, and then there's a lot that are just like, nah, it's just something that happened. Like, you know, like I hurt
They're
myself.
telling you.
Yeah, they're telling me. I'm like, cool. Do you just want to adjust yourself? Like, do you want me to tell me
Here's
where
the
to
table.
adjust you? Yeah, tell me what to do. No, but there are some people that come in and they're like, oh, my back hurts. I think it's here, so you need to adjust here. And then after, so you adjust them, and they're like, I don't think it's cleared. Like,
You didn't do a good job.
okay. Cool, man.
Let me do my thing.
Yeah. I'm like, you go study big chiropractor.
What about you, Jay?
For myself as well as the people tuning into this podcast, what was the question?
So how do you release, or what do you know about how to release emotion or that trauma?
I guess like thinking about myself, I get like stressed over like everything.
Mm.
So for me, it's kind of like trying to make little changes in my lifestyle or my day to help, like, I guess like just help myself. Like sometimes it's like we self-sabotage, and it's like, well, you could be doing a little bit better if you just got like decent sleep, or if you just ate like a little like less Tim Tams in a day, you know? Or just like exercise. And yeah, so I kind of try and like set myself up to kind of be able to like self-regulate a little bit better by, again, setting myself up to succeed by lessening that stress or trying to alleviate that stress. I know different people have like different coping mechanisms with stress. Like some people are problem-centered, where it's like, okay, well, what's causing the stress? I've got this exam. Okay, I'll start studying now, and then I'll be less stressed for the exam. Or some people are more like, I guess, emotion-centered or meaning-centered. Like from the sounds of it, like some, like you guys, you kind of try and take a step back and try and make like get more meaning out of what
Right.
you're feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, I'm someone that like, if I'm stressed about something, I try and
You try
do
and
whatever.
prevent it as much as you can.
Yeah, as well as trying to solve, I guess, like if it's exam, I'll study for the exam. Or if I'm angry about not getting something, I'll try and figure out an alternative way of getting it. Yeah, so that's kind of how I think about releasing stress in a way as well.
But that second point that you just said, it sounds like that you do question it. Because you just said if you're angry about something, you found an alternative way. So it means that you are reflecting in a way. Right?
Unconsciously.
Yeah, unconsciously
Whoa.
you are reflecting that.
I've
Okay,
evolved.
I can't get it this way. Yeah. Yeah.
You are now
So
pressing
you are
1.1.
Yo,
Yay.
glow up. Yeah, I know that. I guess like if you've got stress from or like childhood trauma, that's stuff that like that stays with you, and it does start to manifest as you get older as well. Like you'll start seeing, like you might start to get really stressed or anxious about things that previously you didn't really pay much mind to. And I guess in those situations, it's kind of like, again, like sometimes you might get to the point where you need to to see someone or get like more help professionally or medically. But sometimes it's like, if it's just like something minor or something that we perceive as minor, even just talking to someone can like, yeah, just help. I guess like sometimes when you just like externalize something, it kind of makes you feel a little bit better as well.
Yeah.
I think we can also say that in terms of the flip side as well, in terms of like what you said in terms of happiness and joy and things like that, right? Like based off our environment and what we've learned from a young age in terms of, okay, this is what happiness is, you know, and then we've associated that
To something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess that holds within us as well. Like we'll experience something and then, oh, cool, this is how my body needs to. So my body knows it needs to be like this. But then, yeah, do we actually question, is this what happiness is?
Yeah.
And how often do we talk about, oh, this makes me happy, or this made me happy?
Yeah.
Like what makes you happy? You know, it's interesting just thinking about it, the conversations we're having. Because I was just thinking about this conversation and it was like, okay, what are we talking about? Oh, we're talking about releasing of these negative things.
Yeah,
but also
That's it.
like
Yeah,
on the
there's
flip
a
side,
yeah.
it's positive emotions too, in the way it's like we have to constantly be checking in on all
both
these
sides.
all these
Yeah.
emotions, not
Yeah.
just our negative ones and the ones that cause us these stress. Because these stresses we're having, they're probably just because what am I trying to say is we've magnified it here only because we've magnified it there.
Yeah.
That is why it's so extreme.
Yeah. Where it can be like kind of, you can make it even simpler.
Yeah.
Yourself,
I
if you
was-
wanted to.
Yeah, I was like reading something just before, and it's saying that with our negative emotions, we like overestimate how big they are, and we underestimate our ability to adapt and like actually solve the problems, and that's why they manifest.
That's pretty much
But
what
it's-
stress is.
Yeah,
Mm.
But like
That is,
imagine if
yeah.
we did that with our positive emotions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like
100%.
you just
Be person 1.9.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh,
Damn.
Too soon. Too quick.
That's so true though.
yeah.
So true,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like even moving into that, this podcast really is just about making positivity louder. So yeah, what do you guys do to bring positivity into your life and be about positivity? Or how do you think about positive things?
Interesting.
Sorry.
No, go. I'm
Go.
still thinking.
I just try to surround myself with positive people to vibe off as well.
Yeah, I was
It's
gonna
a
say
big
that,
part
yeah.
of it. Again, it's kind of like you kind of just sometimes you just get if everyone's around you is really positive, then you kind of just get swept up in them as well, and you're like, that's okay sometimes.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like for me, I'm always like trying to be aware of what my environment is.
Yeah.
So like for me, it's like I'm always the average of the 5 people I'm around.
Yeah.
So it's like I'll constantly be thinking about who I'm surrounding myself with and like weeding people out. If it's like, I was like, so
like substitute.
yeah, you're out, like you're cut. But it's like it sounds like so harsh, but it's like that's what I do. I'm just like, you're actually draining me and draining my energy. So it's like I don't need that. And then it's like people either inspire you or retire you.
Oh.
That's-
Where'd
that's-
you-
that's
wait,
from-
wait,
I
where'd you
can't
get it
even-
from?
I can't even quote that because that's from I Love Ugly. Watch
There we
their
go.
podcast.
From who? Sorry, from who? From who? I didn't get that.
From I Love Ugly
Oh,
podcast. Yeah. But yeah, so that's like even just like listening to things like that. It's like I've been more conscious now. I'd say this year by reading more books and actually watching what I'm putting into my body and feeding my brain.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
even
Yeah.
for me, like since getting back to the gym, just also thinking about thinking about food differently as well.
Yeah.
It was like actually these are chemical reactions which are happening inside of me, and so that's gonna have an effect on the way I feel
Yep.
as well.
100%.
You know, and then in terms of positivity, yeah, same thing as what Jay said. It's about the environment, and also I feel like to receive positivity, you got to put out positivity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so something I was thinking about earlier on this year is like, you know how they're like, you got to be the light
Yeah.
to illuminate. But it's like, what if you already are the light?
Yeah.
So just keep being it.
But yeah.
Do you know what I
Thing
mean?
on your wall makes so much more sense now.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I had it up there. I had it up there for a bit. It was like, be the light, be the light, be the light. And then I came home one day. It was like, man, I already am the light.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm shining.
I made it.
No, but
yeah,
see,
yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
it's not in the sense of like I've made it, but like
But I already am.
I already am,
Yeah.
and it's
just gotta
okay
keep being
to fluctuate. Like
Yeah.
again, like nobody
Yeah.
is perfect,
Yeah.
so be that. That is what the light is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's the lens which you
So it's
see
all
it
like
through.
vibes and frequencies again.
Yeah.
I like that.
Anj?
Yeah, I think it's like pretty much similar to what you guys
Mm.
said. So like environment is a huge thing, like surrounding yourself with good people. But then also doing things that make you, that like bring you up. So there's like
Yeah.
things that, you know, like even if you're at a low point, like you know things that you can do to bring it. It could be like obviously like talking to someone, but it could also be like for me it's like dance.
Cool.
But also but like when I it's like service that makes me like most happiest.
right.
So like I love like what I do. I love my job because it's like people come in a certain way, and like my goal is like obviously I want to help them with their pain and things like that. But my goal is to, when they walk out of the office, I want them to be better than what they were, than what they walked in with.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense. So it's obviously, yeah, it's about pain and like getting them better and like all that kind of stuff and education. But I want them to be on like this, like more aware about themselves and like,
Yeah.
just like you said, like you're already the light. You've already got everything that you need within you.
Yeah.
And to see that transformation in people, that like, I don't know, that just like makes me so happy. So like anytime I am having like one of those like bad days or things, I just think about all the good that's happened. Like how many people's lives have changed because you told them this one little thing.
Yeah.
Right? And it's
Yep.
just took them on a whole new route. Like they could have been going down another pathway, but because you did something or you like educated them about something real simple that
Yep.
they could have got from anywhere, but it came from you.
Yep.
because you were being you,
Yeah.
right? That like just brings me to another level.
I got a little
Get it,
story
girl.
with that. I was driving to work yesterday, and there was a pedestrian crossing where a mum and a little girl were crossing to go to the school,
Yeah.
and the little girl waved to me.
Oh,
Like
that's
she
so
was, it
cute.
was so cute, and I was just like, wait, she doesn't even like
Know you.
know me,
Right, yeah.
or how could she even seen through the thing? But she was just looking and she waved, and I was like, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, I just smiled and I just felt happy.
Yeah.
You know, the small things. So that's what I was going to ask as well. Is like, what are your thoughts on the power of a smile?
It's incredible.
Power of the smile,
incredible.
and how often, you know, do you guys just like randomly smile at yourselves or smile at
Yeah.
people, or
Mhm.
you
Like-
know?
Yeah. I feel like a smile can just change your whole mood.
Yeah, it can change
And it's like-
anyone's mood.
Yeah. And it's like if like, it's real funny because I work at the gym, I like smile at someone walking in. And it's like if they've got like an angry look or something on their face, they feel awkward not to smile back.
Yeah.
And you can see that straight away.
Mm.
They're just like yeah, like,
Do I have
do one of
my
these?
face?
But it's yeah, even like when you're driving, like I found this, it's like real weird, but like I take notice of like when I'm driving and I like look at the person next to me and I just smile at them and I'll be like, I wonder if they're gonna smile back or not. And like most people don't because they're just like
Like in their zone,
yeah.
doing whatever.
or like they'll look at you and just be like,
Thinking.
why
Like,
are you
you're
why?
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
why are you
You-
smiling
yeah.
at
It's
me?
so weird to be happy, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yo, we're
But
happy,
it's just
man.
like I just want to smile at you and like yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, that's so true. So true. Like, because even like with patients, like when they come in, like because we can see the waiting room, like before they come in, and so you can see like their mood and like you can pick up like their vibes and what
Yeah.
they're like, and then they'll walk in and they'll be like real down, and then it's like, and then when they walk out, they've completely flipped, and like a lot of
Cool.
the times, like our CAs and stuff, they like walk in, they're like they'll be like, oh, she's real angry today, like, well, something's happened, right, and so they'd walk in and you're like aware of it, so then you're just like, you know, you do your casual things, and I just boost my energy up when I know that
Yeah.
even more. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. They probably think like I'm really weird, but oh well. But I
I've
like
just raised the
yeah,
stakes.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I just boost my energy, and then they walk out, and then I'm like, what do you mean they were angry? They were like fine. Like,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's because you saw that, and I could have been like, oh, they're like down again.
True,
Like,
true.
I could go down to
Yeah.
their level, but
yeah.
I stay up higher, and I feel like they don't like they might not go to that level, but they come like they meet you halfway at least.
Yeah.
It's like
Um,
yeah, when
So
there's
it's like that power of
Yeah.
like a smile or
Raising-
your energy.
raise the-
Yeah.
it's like
raise it
the
up,
energy
yeah.
in the room. Like
Yeah.
usually the most dominant energy is what people try to match or
Yeah.
try to.
That's it.
That's what they
Yeah.
gravitate towards. So it's like
Yeah.
if you're in a happy room and someone walks in with a negative attitude, and they're like constantly reminding you of that negative attitude, it's going to bring the whole atmosphere down.
yeah.
But it's like
Yeah.
if it's a complete opposite and they're like always smiling and like super energetic and just like overly exert that, then it's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I'm going to meet that. Like
Yeah.
that's
magnetic,
what,
eh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It is.
yeah. And then
That's
that's
so
what a
is.
smile does for me, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
I think there's also evidence that says that if you smile, it like actually releases like neurotransmitters in your brain.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
also kind of like, again, it's like positive feedback. Like if you smile, it releases neurotransmitters which make you feel happy as well.
Yeah.
So it's like stuff like smiling and power poses is actually like really good for you. So I'm like, there's like biological proof as well. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
the power of the smile is like, it does do great things.
That's cool. Smile with your
That
teeth,
smile, though,
man.
yeah.
I was just smiling at you guys.
Even
Even in saying that, Tully and Kay started doing. They started and this is what I made Curry do the other day as well, because she was kind of getting angry at Dad, and Dad was just like winding her up.
yeah.
They do 20-second hugs.
Yeah, that's
'Cause-
a big thing.
Yeah, they're like, once you get past a certain amount of time, your body starts releasing chemicals, and
Yeah.
even Tully's been telling me as well. She's like, yeah, we just like, she'll be like caught up in the moment and everything. Kay's like, bring it in. They do a 20-second hug, and they just end up laughing over it.
Yeah.
You know, and
That's cool. Yeah.
even these guys, you know, like, it doesn't matter. Like, you just end up feeling so stupid about
Yeah.
whatever you're
I did.
arguing, you
I
know?
certainly
You're like,
did.
you
Yeah.
canll help but feel the love.
Yeah.
It was-
When
it was-
someone's hugging you. Of
Yeah,
course.
you know?
It was interesting because he made me do it to my dad because I was just angry about the thing, but it's like stupid what I was angry about. And then like even going into the hug, I was like
You just
the
crack
first
up.
the first few seconds I was like so tense because like I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And then like after like 10 seconds I was like relaxed, and you feel
Just
the
feel like
difference
the
Yeah.
in the hug,
warmth
and then it's like your
yeah.
tension's just gone.
Yeah.
But
But
I
that's
was-
something
yeah.
that you can do when you're emotionally stressed or when you have that emotion.
You do one of these, eh?
Yeah.
You do a thumb hug.
Just
It's not the same.
You can do like a hand hug. You do like this.
it is
Yeah.
because you're just like, you're an idiot. Like, good job, man.
Give me your hand, I'll show you.
Oh, yeah, wait, this way.
Hand hug.
Oh.
Yeah. Do
That's
one of
good.
these
I like
if,
that.
if you don't like hugging people.
I've also seen like teammates and they'll like hold each other's hands and they'll look into each other's eyes
God.
and they'll like either apologize or say like I
Wow.
love you, like,
Wow.
and it's like that stuff works. As uncomfortable
We just
as
don't
it is, but
connect
like,
on that level.
Yeah.
like-
Yeah.
yeah.
So true.
Damn. Anything else, you guys? Anything you feel like we haven't covered or you really wanted to say?
No, I think we're good.
That was a solid session, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool.
It made
I
me
enjoyed
happy.
it. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling
Good.
Yeah.
Energetic.
You
yeah.
want to hold hands?
I was just gonna say, let's bring it in, guys.
I love you.
I love all of you guys, man, and I really hope whoever's tuned in or whoever's watching, I just hope the energy's been
Yeah.
you can feel the energy,
Yeah.
or because man, we're all about positive vibes here, and this podcast is about making positivity louder.
Yeah.
So if you've connected, I hope you've connected, or you can feel the buzz, man, because
It's high in here.
it's high in here. Oh, thank you guys so much for coming along. I appreciate having you guys here and being able to talk about this.
Thank you for having us.
So please do come back.
For sure.
Cool. I want to thank everyone who's tuned in, whether you're listening, whether you're watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we only ask that if you feel like there's someone that you feel needs to see this, then please do share it with them. Or if you felt like if you've taken any value out of today, then please do share what we're trying to do as well. And if you've got anything that you feel like we can work on, then please do contact us at info@thehumannow.co.nz. And until next time, be human, be
Now. With that smile.
with the smile, the Colgate smile.
Jay missed it.
Okay, right.
We didn't do
Okay,
it
ready?
again.
Until next time, be human, be.
Now.
Oh, that was like
B.
I like that one
ready
better.
for the B now.
Now we done.
That's it.
And cut.
Cool. Cut.